All right, I just recorded a whole video, I thought, a second ago, and you know what? I did the whole presentation on algebra, and it wasn't recording. That makes me sad. So I'm going to share screen, and hopefully this works this time. I'm so disappointed. You have no idea. Let's start algebra again, go over this, and I can't believe I have to repeat this again. Oh, reminds me of the days when I taught sixth grade. We had to repeat everything all day long to different classes. Here we go. All the way down. Oh, if this doesn't work again, I'm going to be so upset. All right, here we go. I'm going to cry like a baby. Here we go. Algebra. Algebra is not hard. Algebra is easy. It's supposed to be one of the hardest things you learn, by the way, but I tell you, it is not. It's not. It's sixth grade is nothing but algebra, it seems like. Algebra is about finding variables and all that, but let's get to that in a minute. Let's just read through it. Algebraic reasoning, expressions and equations. Let's start with the basics. An equation has an equal sign. 3 plus 4 equals 7. Equa. Do you hear the word equal? Get it? Equation. Don't make it harder than what it has to be. Expression. It's 3 plus 4. There is no equal sign. So if you hear expression, equation, that's the difference. Equations have an answer. Expressions do not. Now, variable. A letter or symbol used to represent a number. It's what's missing. It's what you're trying to find. It's what you want to know. Look at algebra right here. So variables, what's missing? It's a letter. Well, look right here. Rule. You're trying to find the rule between things too, and I'll talk about that in a minute. You'll see what I mean. You're going to have this y equals a times x. If two things are side by side, it's juxtaposition, which is multiply. Y equals x plus a. You'll find out what that is in a minute. That's variables, and you're trying to find like the rule, additive or multiplicative. That's simple, don't worry. Algebra, let's start with the basics. Y equals 5 plus 3. There's your variable. Well, what would y be? Well, if it's 5 plus 3, wouldn't that be 8? Remember, equals is about balancing on both sides. So y is an 8. So use that information. 6 plus y, which is the variable, remember, equals 14. Well, we know it's 8 because 6 plus 8 is 14, so it balances on both sides. Why? Because it's balanced. That's why that's the answer. Algebra is easy. Find the missing variable. What is 16 divided by? Well, we know it's 8. It's 2. See what I mean? Now, independent, dependent, plug it in. Independent is x. Dependent is y. And x is always before y. Always. Think of the alphabet. X, Y, Z. X, Y, Z. If you know your alphabet, you know x is first. You can have an x by itself, but you can't have a y without having an x. And to make a y happen, you have to have a rule happening to make it happen, like an operation between them to make the y exist. You'll see what I mean. And plug it in. You'll see that in a second. So how does a 1 become a 3? This is input, output, input, output, input, output. How does a 2 become a 6? 3 plus 9. Pause the video. You tell me. Okay, let's look at it. It's getting bigger, so it's either plus or times. Is it 1 plus 2 is 3? 2 plus 2 is 6? No. So let's try it times. 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. What have we discovered here? I think we know that it's multiplication between them. That's the rule between them. The between is the rule. This is called a multiplicative rule. Get it? Multiply, multiplicative, which can also go with division too, from what I understand. So now, in this kind of a problem, you would actually find the answer, A, B, C, or D. So you need to understand y is remember, it's dependent. It's baby y. I call it baby y because it can't exist without the x. X is independent. It's on its own. Get it? Independent. Like on Rudolph, I want to be independent. And so, remember him and Rudolph and that little dentist fella? Don't worry about that. Herbie or whatever his name was. Who cares? Now, A, y equals x plus 3. Plug it in. I mean, literally instead of putting a letter, the algebra, the variable, put the number that it is. I would focus on the 1 and the 3. Do those first. You don't have to use these unless you need to. So what is y? Y is a 3. So you want to write this on your paper, write it exactly the way it is, except for putting numbers instead. So 3 would go here, equals 1 plus 3. Does 3 equal 1 plus 3? No. 1 plus 3 is 4. Y equals 3 times x. Oh, this means juxtaposition. It means you multiply when it's a number next to a letter or two things side by side. So y is a 3. 3 times 1 is 3. Well, 3 equals 3. That's true. That could be the answer, but you want to try all your choices. Now, this is y plus x equals 3. Well, plug it in. Y is a 3. 3 plus what? 1. So that's 4 equals 3. On another planet, perhaps, but not here. That's not it. And this is y equals, remember, this is a fraction. That's a division problem. Y is a 3, and x is a 1, so 1 divided by 2. 1 divided by 2 is a half, and a half is decimal 50. That is not the same as 3. So the answer is B. You could have used these other ones and tried plugging in a 6 and a 2, but you didn't need to. Sometimes you have to try them all, but you never know. I would, just to be, extra cautious. So let's go to the next part here and talk about it. And this hopefully is recording this time. I'll be so disappointed if this doesn't work. Now, let's go over this. All right. 4B, this is what you're supposed to be learning about. Represent a multi-step problem involving the 4 operations with whole numbers using equations, remember equal sign, with a letter standing for the unknown quantity, that's variable, the missing thing. Generate numerical pattern given a rule, that's the in between the x and the y, the input output, in the form of y equals ax. In other words, y equals a times x, which is, you're going to find out, multiplicative, and y equals x plus a, which is additive. Recognize the difference between additive and multiplicative numerical patterns given a table or graph. Well, look at it right here. Additive relationships. A relationship among a set of ordered pairs. You're going to learn ordered pairs when you do coordinate grids. Those are easy. Trust me. It's like the game Battleship. But ordered pairs, a couple of numbers, and they're in, usually in a parentheses with a comma between them. They go in order. You do one thing, then the other. You do the x, then you do the y. It'll make more sense later when I show you. But it's among a set of ordered pairs in which the same value is added to each x value to find the corresponding y. So you add something to the x to get the y. Well, look, how does 0 become a 4, 1 become a 5, 2 become a 6? Plus 4, plus 4, plus 4. That's the rule. That's the additive relationship. Notice 4 is added to each x value to find the baby y. Additive can include subtraction. Think of it as the rule. Multiplicative relationships. A relationship among a set of ordered pairs in which the x value is multiplied by the same factor to find each corresponding y value. So you multiply the rule. How does 0 become a 0, 1 become a 4, 2 become an 8? I think you subtract. No. Got bigger. 0 times 0. What about 0 times 4? Wouldn't you still get 0? Yeah. 0, 1 times 4, 2 times 4. It's times 4. Notice each value is multiplied by a 4 to find the y. Remember, you can't have a y without the x. Input, output. This is algebra we're doing. Okay, here's the last part of this, because then we go to the fun stuff, which is PEMDAS. I love PEMDAS. Here we go, algebra. Algebra is it's number sense and balancing. You want balance. Patterns are patterns, fact families, relationships, tables, charts, lists, predicting outcomes. Look at this input, output over here. Let's make this a little bigger. All right, input, output. Pause the video. You tell me, how does the x and the y, how does the 2 become a 10, 3 become a 15, 7 become a 35? You tell me. Pause. All right. Times 5, times 5, times 5. That's a multiplicative rule. Now, here it is showing you like a little rule down here too. The O, output, is 5 times I, input. Output is 5 times input. This is the rule. It's multiplicative. Here's another version of it. 1 becomes a 27, 2 becomes a 54, input, expression, output. Sometimes they'll show it this way, be prepared. This expression, remember, no equal sign. It says a multiplicative rule because it's times 27 to get these answers. So what would go here? Tell me. Pause the video. What would the rule be here? What would the answer be here? Remember? Okay, patterns. Patterns are easy. Look at this. Patterns, you just put loops between them, and then what's going on? How does a 2 become a 4? A 4 become a 3? A 3 become a 5? Well, isn't it plus 2 minus 1, plus 2 minus 1, plus 2 minus 1? There's your rule. Plus 2 minus 1. So this is a combination rule, isn't it? It's not so hard, is it? Just pay attention. I can do some more of those on the board of different other variables if you want. And let's wrap this up. This is stuff we've already said earlier, so I'll go quicker. Y equals ax. Y equals x plus a. That's multiplicative, that's additive. The y is dependent, it's baby y, upon the x, which is independent. Y equals x plus a, which is additive. T-shirts, 1. Expression, 1 plus 2. Total number is 3. Here's the rule in the middle. This is obviously an additive. Additive relationships, a relationship among a set of ordered pairs. Those are, two things that go together. This is the ordered pair right here. These are ordered pairs down here, in which the same value is added to the x value to find the corresponding y. Remember, you can't have y without the x. 0 becomes a 4, 1 becomes a 5, 2 becomes a 6. Plus 4, plus 4, plus 4. Notice 4 is added to the x value to get the y. Y equals ax. That means a times x. Is multiplicative, multiply. The rule is multiplication. Multiplicative relationships, a relationship among a set of ordered pairs in which the x value is multiplied by the same factor. Remember, a factor, multiplication factor, to find each corresponding y value. 0 becomes a 0, 1 becomes a 4, 2 becomes an 8 because it's times 4. Notice the x value is multiplied by 4 to find the y. I believe this could be the coefficient. Don't worry about this part. This is advanced. A coefficient is a number multiplied by a variable in an algebraic expression. Example, in 6x, 6 is the coefficient. Don't worry, this is something you don't need to know necessarily. I just put it on there for fun. So we can investigate that later if you want to, but no need to worry. Because PEMDAS is next. And please video work this time. Please. I'm going to end the video and see what happens. Please work. And stop video.